everybody, Allegra here, choosing happiness one project at a time, and I wanted to share with you my indoor small space winter kitchen of sorts. I call it my winter kitchen because I bring everything in here in the winter time, whereas in the spring and summer, depending on the warm months, I have my kitchen outdoors where my sink and shower are. But for now, I have everything that I need inside for the most part. Our square footage in here is 432 square feet, I believe, somewhere around 430 square feet. So it's pretty small, but I want to just show you how I have everything set up in here and how I operate during the cold months for cooking and dishes, water, and all that kind of stuff. So I will show you around. First, this is our drinking water. So we have these big, gallon jugs, and then we have little, I use these old wine jugs. We get water from our family, so we have an agreement that works out well. That kind of thing doesn't work for everybody. Of course, you don't want to be a moocher or anything like that, but the way we have it worked out is great. So this is the broader picture. We'll back up a little bit. I have that tabletop is an old ship hatch door. So that's pretty cool. It's very rustic. It needs some work. I want to work on it this summer, sand it a little bit and maybe coat it with a polyurethane or something and make a nice table out of it. But for now, it's just resting on top of this kind of shop, kind of rusty thing I found. So it's kind of whatever. I have some storage up above, and I have my pots kind of hanging there on the wall. I have this hot plate that is not grounded, so it's super dangerous. Brant bought it at the thrift store for like $5 or something, but it's been working great. It works for now. I just unplug it after use so I don't burn the place down. And I got my main storage right here. So I have my coffee, some coconut flakes, coconut oil, flour, olive oil. That's kind of salt right there. There's my salt. And that's kind of the stuff I've been using lately. And this is, my mother-in-law found this really awesome glass water container. And we ordered online this contraption here. So it allows me to wash my hands. It's not hands-free, so it's not perfect, but I can at least wash my hands off inside. And I have just a little galvanized bucket there. I have some storage down here. And then more storage in this, like my favorite thing ever, this corner hutch. I love it so much. And so we have some storage in here of goods. And it's situated right here. Whoops, the light, sorry about that. This door, once the outdoor kitchen is set up, I will move this corner hutch into this corner and we'll be using that door. Right now we're using the door that goes straight to our bedroom. So, and I have down here my appliances, and we scored a free convection oven. It uses a lot of electricity, so I try not to use it that much, but I still do use it. Our electric bill it's really cheap. We pay under $20 a month for electricity. Here's my compost little container. I have some nettles in there right now, kind of drying off. And down here is my dirty dishes bin. I'll back up a bit. I had to turn off my lights. You can kind of see the big picture of what our indoor kitchen, our small space indoor kitchen for the winter looks like. Okay, well, so I have my tub. It's kind of gross and it's starting to break. I need to get a new one, but it was free. And let's see, where's my soap? I always have some white vinegar around, and I usually have, I just ran out of lemons. I always have lemons around, so I'm constantly, I have a lemon. If I've just used a spoon or a fork, I rub lemon juice all over it, or I stick my utensils in a little container full of vinegar, and usually I have that in there, but I'll just show kind of what I do. I try to use pretty environmentally friendly detergents. And I got my boiling water here, and I just dump my boiling water all over. Right now I'm heating up water on the hot plate to do dishes, but normally I have the wood stove going and I have this big canning pot and it heats up water very, very quickly. I just don't have a fire going right now, so. Being very careful, I have poured boiling water on my hand. I was pouring out of this pot, I was pouring boiling water into a cup one time, and I poured it right onto here, and that was probably the most painful burn I have ever experienced in my life. So just got to be very careful. Don't let it splash. And I just kind of let it soak in there, and maybe let it sit for a few minutes so that the temperature is decent enough for me to handle. I don't have any dishwashing gloves, but I would prefer to have dishwashing gloves to protect my hands, because my hands are getting pretty beat up. So I'll let this sit, and then I'll come back and just do the dishes. So I'm just kind of washing the last few dishes here, and then I poured the rest of that boiling water into a pitcher, and it's kind of cooling off a bit, and then I'll just rinse my dishes. I'll just dump the dirty dishwater outside when I'm finished. Okay. Okay. It's still pretty hot, so all of this has been sterilized. Just for extra measure, I poured in a little bit of vinegar as well. Vinegar and lemon juice has very good disinfecting powers to them. And this was a Trader Joe's olive tapenade jar. These make great storage. I like using these as like spice and other dry goods storage. I will finish this up and be right back. Another thing I forgot to mention is we have a small refrigerator out in the studio, and it's just a really small, it's only about this tall, and it's not like the best refrigerator ever. When it's really cold, I actually just unplug it and I keep everything in a cooler out on the porch, and that works fine. And in the summer, we do use the little refrigerator, but I just don't like it in here. And we are going to get a small deep freezer down here pretty soon, so I don't know exactly where I'm going to put that. I might have to build a little shelter for it, because I do not want it inside and I don't want it on the porch. So that's kind of our food store, or cold food storage is in a little refrigerator out in the studio. Silverware, I keep all our silverware in a little box over on our bookshelf. For 2 people living in this space, this is absolutely perfect. And once I move this kitchen out in a few weeks, once it gets warmer and I don't need to have it in here as much anymore, I will have maybe, I'll have probably, hopefully if I fix this in time, maybe when Brant gets back, he and I can work on it together. But it might be nice to either, I think this table is probably a little too big, but we'll have a little dining room table and chairs in here. And that way when it rains, we can just eat inside. But normally in the summer, we eat outside and do all of our food stuff out there. So that is pretty much it. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was interesting. I think it's kind of interesting to see how people live in smaller spaces and see what kind of their little ideas are. I feel like most of the stuff I do is pretty rudimentary, but maybe I showed you something a little new that you haven't seen before, I hope. Anyway, thanks again. I really appreciate you watching my videos. You can also get updates on my art at allegrarosebrown.com, and I hope you will check that out. All right, everybody, I hope you choose happiness one project at a time, and I will see you soon. Bye.